Well, today is the 5-year anniversary of January 6th. Yes, the day that the Democrats claim is worse than Pearl Harbor and World War II combined, at least if you talk to AOC. I was there. I got arrested. I got raided for trespassing along with other people. I'm going to break that all down, and I'm going to show you the truth about January 6th. It's one of the biggest exaggerations and lies ever sold to the American people. Let's get into it. All right, guys, so today is January 6th, and it's been 5 years. I cannot believe, and a lot of you have been with me on this journey from the very beginning. You guys saw how I pushed through it. I never surrendered. I mean, literally the day after I got arrested by the FBI, I was making FBI memes, and I commented on their X post saying that it's a two-tier system. I mean, you guys saw that back in the day, back in 2024, I believe it was, is when they arrested me. 2024, they arrested me, and I was pardoned in February of 2025, right after Trump took office. And man, it's just been a crazy journey. But guys, the reason why I keep talking about this is not because of what it did to me. In fact, it made me a better person. And I actually grew out of the political persecution. So the devil's plan backfired. But it's important to see, because the corruption that surrounded January 6th and pushed that narrative is still alive and well in America today. If you're not subscribed yet, by the way, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. If you're on X, make sure you follow me on all social media at Dave Medina PDX. Really appreciate you. Love you all. We're going to just spit some truth at you real quick, because this day, this was my house. This was my house back in March of 2021. These guys actually thought I was this much of a threat to raid my house. Look at this. This is my house right here. And FBI agents, along with Sherwood PD, rifles in hand. You'll see a guy come out of the house here with a riot shield out of my house. My daughter was home at the time. She was 13 at the time. They pointed guns at her, raided the house, cut down all my security cameras. You know, I've been doing this here in Portland for a long time, right outside of Portland, this political work. And, you know, I've received threats. I've received death threats. I've received everything that everybody else has received, right? And so I had a security system, and they came and cut all of that off. And so luckily, a lot of you supported me and donated to get my security system back up and running. I just love you guys, by the way, my supporters. It's not, I don't like to say my supporters. I mean, we are all in this together. I'm just the head of this thing that the Lord has chosen to stand against evil here in Oregon. And I'm honored by that. And I don't get prideful about that. And it's such an honor to be able to stand against evil on behalf of many of you that can't. And hopefully we can change that. But look at this, the evil like this. This is evil right here. These agents thought that I was so dangerous because on January 6th, I walked into an open Capitol, screamed freedom a couple times, yelled at CNN. We have that clip, by the way, where I screamed at CNN, because they're going to use that. And they're going to say, oh, he was violent and all this kind of stuff. So what was the story? Why did I go to January 6th? I went to January 6th because a supporter of mine at the time paid for me and 10 other people to fly to DC to see Trump one last time. And we didn't go there to steal the election or stop the election. At least I didn't. That was not in my social media at the time. You can go back and look at my social media. That was not anything I was talking about. I do believe the election, there was some funny things that happened, and I don't want to say too much because we're on YouTube, but you guys know how I feel about that 2020 election, and they're finding more and more evidence today. So this generous lady, supporter of mine, supported us and flew us to DC to go see that thing. After Trump's speech, you guys saw there, after Trump's speech, everybody went down to the Capitol, and this was my post when I got pardoned last year. This was me in the Capitol, and you see me. I mean, you see this picture, and you're probably like, dude, you look like a psycho. I love America, baby, and I love freedom. And, you know, we were dealing with the COVID tyranny at the time, and we were dealing with my kid was missing school. I was more there for that. I wasn't really there to stop the election. And of course, the fake news media, they're going to go to extract private text messages that the FBI made public about me and my cousin joking about taking over the governor's mansion and we kid about that stuff all the time. Many guys do, right? And we weren't serious. And in fact, like, I've never called for violence. I've never called for anything like that. So people, that's why all of you, I love all of you, because a lot of you know who I really am. You guys have followed me on social media years prior to that, to the January 6th. And you knew that this was all a hoax. I was really inspired by how many people came to my defense on January 6th. People that weren't even conservatives, people that were following me that, don't even like Trump. And so it was just really inspiring. And let's talk about that day, right? Because I was there. We went there. When I arrived at the Capitol, there was no violence. There was no nothing crazy going on. It was just everything was kind of settling and peaceful. And I walked into an open door and grabbed that flag, which people accused me of stealing. I did not steal that flag. They would have found it here. I would not steal from the Capitol building. Anyways, it was just, we went in there and we yelled freedom. When they told us to get out, we left. And they thought that by going in there, none of my charges were violent, right? By the way, it was nonviolent. But they thought that that was enough to come to my house and raid my house with multiple agents and officers, terrorize my daughter, terrorize my brother who was staying with us at the time. It was a really crazy time. And if it wasn't for God's grace and God's mercy on me, I wouldn't have gotten through that. That was hard to have the federal government indicting you on multiple charges, trying to throw you in prison for 5 years just for walking into a Capitol. It was the biggest abuse of power I have ever seen from a department, from a Justice Department I've ever heard of. I mean, it was crazy. The narrative they're trying to push on January 6th, all to make Donald Trump look bad. Meanwhile, they ignored all of the Portland riots in 2020, all of the riots, the George Floyd riots. Meanwhile, people actually died in those riots. Business owners, cities were destroyed that are still recovering. Portland, Oregon is still recovering, and these people had nothing to say about that. But they're gonna sick the FBI on us just because we walked into a Capitol. It's actually crazy. Did you guys see this? Was Nancy Pelosi. Remember Nancy Pelosi? Look at what she said about January 6th. I mean, people say it was a setup. I think it was a setup, not where I think that I don't know. I can't get there. I can't get that it was a full setup, but I think that they saw an opportunity and they took it. So that could be a setup. We'll see.
We have responsibility, Terry. We did not have any accountability for what was going on there, and we should have.
And that was her daughter who was filming her.
Ridiculous. You're going to ask me in the middle of the thing when they've already breached the inaugural stuff that should we call the Capitol Police? I mean, the National Guard? Why weren't the National Guard there to begin with?
Because you and the leftist mayor of D.C. denied Trump's request for the National Guard, by the way.
They thought that they had sufficient resources.
That is not a question of how they had been. They don't know. They clearly didn't know, and I take responsibility for not having them just.
So, we could go really deep into this, into agitators that were there. There were agitators there. I saw them when I was there. I saw people there that were not MAGA people. I could spot them from a mile away. Brand new stickers, brand new equipment. They weren't acting like patriots. They were kind of like, it was just obvious. I saw a lot of agitators there, a lot of people in there that were not good faith actors. Or were not MAGA supporters. They were there to instigate, and they were there to egg on. And it was later found that there was multiple agents in the crowd at J6. It was like, this thing could have been prevented, right? The people, and I'm not letting the people who were initially battling and pushing violence, and some may say, well, tear gas was sprayed into them, and that's why they got crazy. Still doesn't excuse fighting cops. I've never been able to stand with people who were actually being violent that day. I can't stand with you on that. But those people were also treated very differently from a lot of leftist rioters were all over the country. They actually, Benny Johnson, a buddy of mine, amazing guy, White House published a page revealing the full true story of January 6th. Here's what this page looks like. This is so incredible. They just published this today, and you'll hear the left say, well, there was Republicans on the January 6th committee, and it was like, dude, I'm just going to tell you right now, Adam Kinzinger, who's no longer a Republican, I don't think, Liz Cheney, who hates Donald Trump. Who else was on there that was Republican? I mean, is there a couple other, one other, was she Republican? I don't know. But we know that Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney were huge anti-Trumpers. They did not actually have a balanced committee for the J6 committee. And said the website says President Trump took decisive action to pardon January 6 defendants who were unfairly targeted, overcharged, and used as political examples. They were not protected by the leaders who failed them. They were punished to cover incompetence. On the first day back in office, January 20th, 2025, President Trump issued a sweeping blanket pardons and commutations for nearly 1,600 patriotic Americans prosecuted for their presence at the Capitol. Many were mere trespassers or peaceful protesters. That's me. And many were peaceful protesters treated as insurrectionists by a weaponized Biden DOJ. I mean, I couldn't have said this better. He fully pardoned most, commuted sentence and ordered immediate release of those still in prison. Ending years of harshly solitary confinement, denied due process, and family separation. You guys, when you feel you're the government, and then what's this last one? This is Michael Bird. Yeah, the guy that shot Ashley Babbitt is running a daycare in freaking Maryland. You just cannot make this up. But my thing is, guys, is when you read the news, right? When you look at things behind a screen and you look at the corruption, you look at the fraud going on in Minnesota, here in Oregon, you look at all this kind of stuff, right? It hits you where it makes you mad, but you don't feel the weight of it until you're part of it. I got a front row seat. I was fully immersed into the government corruption, the Democrat Party government corruption. I'm not saying that all Republicans are perfect, but I got a front row seat to that. And it was heavy, guys. It was scary. And a lot of people, they went into hiding because of it. They couldn't handle it. And I asked God for strength, and the Lord showed me, hey, you need to get back out there and use this as fuel. That's exactly what I did. I got back out, kept building my media thing that I'm doing here, and kept being involved in politics. And I just kept pushing, because in the end, truth wins. Good wins in the end, you guys. Don't be afraid of lies and evil. We have to stop being afraid of that. And in Oregon, we especially have to stop allowing the Democrats and the media here, a Democrat Party politicians, I should say, and the media, dictate our behaviors or how we feel. This is our state too. And there's many more of us than there are of them. It's just that we need to find our voices again. And we need to understand that good and truth always win in the end. And it's never easy when you're fighting against evil, but good and truth always wins, guys. And we have to remember that. And what the left and the media did on January 6th, and Trump's going to make billions of dollars on it because he's suing all of them, like the BBC, who doctored the footage. I mean, if they were on the side of truth, they wouldn't have to doctor footage. They wouldn't have to hide evidence. They wouldn't have to erase tapes. They erased literally almost everything from that January 6th committee. All the messages, all the emails. I mean, it's mostly destroyed. And so if you're on the side of truth, you're going to let truth come out. And they didn't, because they hate Donald Trump so much that they're willing to ruin the lives of people like me and many others. And it's just unacceptable. We have to stand against it. Guys, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me at Dave Medina PDX across all social media. Leave a comment. I want to hear what you have to say. Even if you don't like Donald Trump, you're still welcome here. Just be respectful. And I love hearing from you guys. And I love talking to you guys. I don't like talking to people that I only agree with. Those are fun. But it's also fun to talk to people I disagree with. So let's come together, man. Let's come together, and let's be okay with our differences. Let's be okay with our differences, and let's have conversations again. We'll see you guys on the next one.